All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ms. TV Total Football. I've got my bad boy Badra in the building. Ishan is in the house. We're going to bring you the latest in transfer news that's been popping off over the last, to be honest, in the last 12 hours. Fabrizio Romano has been popping off. As I said, we're going to cover every ground here besides Chelsea. For Chelsea news, Chelsea activities, go and follow the other side of the coin. That's where you're going to get all that stuff there. But here, it's the best place where Ishan and I will bring you as much as possible to cover every other club out there, not just in the Premier League, elsewhere as well. And sometimes not even football related, maybe other stuff that we might even cover here. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Let's get into it. First of all, Ishan, how are you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. We're rolling, isn't it? This is the transfer season. This is the transfer
Come on.
period, summer transfer windows around in the corner as well, and this is another phase of all the football clubs that we have, especially the Premier League clubs that we have. That they are focusing on big signings, big signings,
Yeah.
and the one that we are going to focus today is one of them. So really excited to be a part of this whole phase, man.
100%, man. These Premier League clubs, they mean business, man. Especially Liverpool, absolutely means business. They don't want to just sit on their laurels of this Premier League title that they've won this season. They want to make sure that they can create something for next season, maybe even build a legacy down the track. But as I said, not just Liverpool. There's Arsenal news, ladies and gentlemen. There's Man United news. There's Barcelona news. There's Juventus news. There's a lot of things popping off. We're going to kick things off here. This is one of the latest one that has dropped a bomber from Fabrizio Romano. Liverpool is a particular video that I covered a couple of days ago. If you have missed that, check it out, where I talked about where they've already done a deal with Jeremy Frimpong, which we'll touch base over here. And now, Ishan, this is the latest from Fabrizio. Understand Liverpool have contacted Bournemouth for Milos Kerkez deal, with talks now advancing. Liverpool are also completing the agreement on personal terms with Kerkez, keen on the move. Negotiations underway between clubs on transfer fee. Ishan, a few days ago we saw Jeremy Frimpong. That's a done deal. That's here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Now they're getting close to a here we go for Milos Kerkez. That's a right back, right-sided player, maybe even right wing, left-sided player, can potentially probably play as a left wing back as well if they ever want to switch things up. Ishan, Liverpool are doing some serious business and setting themselves up for a proper title challenge next season. What's your thoughts on this player?
Bro, you'll have to give your flowers to the Liverpool sporting director and the ones who's in charge and scouting these players. Brilliant scouting. Frimpong, we just heard the news this last week, and then we have Milos Kerkez. Kerkez is a brilliant player. We've seen this guy against us as well, and also Bournemouth had a wonderful season. I would say the initial part of Premier League. This guy was very important part of that Bournemouth run, and he had a very decent season as well. A couple of times he got voted as Bournemouth's player of the month as well. So he's an important part of the Bournemouth team, and his performance speaks a lot. Liverpool, after signing Frimpong, Kerkez is also if they lock and seal and sign him, I think so. This will be a fantastic move by Liverpool. Look, even I wanted, I was willing to have him in Chelsea. In fact, even now I am, because to be very honest, after Marc Cucurella, there's nobody else, right, in Chelsea.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and that's the difference between Liverpool's sporting director and the way they have their players. Like we always talk about in this channel, is the spine, right? They know how to play around with their best 11.
I wonder how old Kerkez is. How old is Kerkez? He's 21. See, you're right. Yeah. Like Ishan, these are the type of young players that you want to get. Like Premier League, got experience, and he's so fitted for Liverpool as well, Ishan. Like you can see when he plays for Bournemouth, the way he presses, the way the energy, the intensity of going up and down. Like he is tailor-made for Liverpool, I feel, Milos Kerkez. Not Simon Kerkez.
100%.
Simon Kerkez is.
Simon Kerkez, but you
making up names.
Look, the way Liverpool ideally used to play, right? heavy gegenpressing. Gegenpressing is what their playing style is, right?
Yeah.
Heavy pressing, and especially from the right backside, we saw Trent Alexander-Arnold do it in such a lovely manner. Pressing, bombing up. Maybe not that defensively, but this guy brings that defensive element as well. The way you'd see Liverpool perform. Uh, Trent Alexander-Arnold bombing up. You had Van Dijk as a cover. When you'd see Alexander bomb up, Andy Robertson would confine him to certain defensive space to
Yeah.
maybe not let that counter attack happen. This guy can unleash both the expertise of attack and then bomb back to defense as well. So I
You're
think
right.
he's going to be
Defensively,
a great
he's
addition.
strong. Defensively,
Yeah.
definitely strong. You're absolutely right. What a signing this will be. Looks like it's going to happen. Players keen, personal terms getting closer and closer, and the talks between Liverpool and Bournemouth. Bournemouth, do you know what? They're going to do some. They're going to do some serious level of business. Already, they've lost Dean Huijsen for 50 million release clause. They're back to get the money for Kerkez. Look out for Bournemouth. I'm sure they'll have to go into the market because their manager, what's his name, man? The manager's name's just not in my head, but I know Iriola. Their manager is if he's going to stay at Bournemouth, he's going to want some level of reinforcements for next season, or maybe Iriola might leave as well. Who knows? We'll see what happens with Bournemouth. Next up, Arne Slot. This is what he had to say in the last 24 hours. I think we can find one or two extra weapons that this team doesn't have. Maybe by using the transfer market that will only make us stronger. That is what we need because we saw City spending 200 million in January transfer window. All of them will. I mean, Arne Slot's right. They needed a right-sided player with Trent Alexander-Arnold gone to Real Madrid, and they've got Frimpong, left-sided player. They need someone because Robertson's getting older and his impact is not the same anymore. And Tsimikas is someone I don't think they're totally comfortable with. Maybe he might be leaving. So Kerkez definitely needed to come in. So, I mean, Ishan, this guy, Liverpool, he was never given anything besides Chiesa. Last summer was only given Chiesa for a small amount of money, and Chiesa was predominantly injured. And in the January, they didn't do any business. I mean, for him to win the Premier League, and he's got every right to demand that, you better start helping me out. I just won you a trophy. What do you think about Arne Slot and talking about that there are certain weapons that they can add, which looks like they're already adding?
Yeah, you know what, Miss? I've heard people speak about this, and there are some football fans that you'd come across. They will say that, oh, come on, Man City was out of form. That's why Liverpool won. Arsenal are always bottlers. That's why Liverpool won. Bro, these guys have won games that they should have lost. These guys, these guys were reluctant to drop any points. The games that they performed badly, they've managed to get a draw out of it. You know what I mean? That's how they've become champions. Do not rate them down. Do not rate them down. These guys, Arne Slot is a genius. He knows how to get results, even if not at the best of the day. He knows how to get results, and very evidently as well against Chelsea, he came out and vocally said it a couple of times, 3 times for that matter. He came up and said that against games like Chelsea, we were not the best side, but we just knew how to win things, and that's what it matters, means. You know what I mean? So a manager who instills that winning mentality in the team and just knows whatever he got, it's enough to take him to victory. He'll do whatever it takes to take them to victory. And that's exactly what Arne Slot did. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Agreed the fact that Man City has not been in form, but do not discredit or disregard the fact that Arne Slot has been wonderful this season, and be scared of him when he gets a full summer window, or maybe this upcoming winter window as well. He might develop some monsters around him.
I agree, man. I agree. You're right. The game that we played against them earlier in the season, we probably played a better game, and they still ended up winning 2-1. We actually had that was the game I remember all of us said after the loss, you know what? Probably not too upset because we played good, and we probably didn't deserve to lose. So you're right. They gritted out wins, which then put them in a really good position to win the league. So you're right. This is the latest in regards to Jeremy Frimpong. Final part of the medical plus contract signing to take place in the next hours for Jeremy Frimpong as new Liverpool player. 35 million release clause has been activated. I mean, some of this business, Ishan, is just 35 million release clause. I don't know how much Kerkez is going to go for. They are buying these young players. See how we go for young players that no one's heard of? They're going for young players that have actually got some level of credibility, and they're still not breaking their transfer budget. They're still within their capacity. I guess all of this is easier when the team and the club is run in a proper manner. They've got a sporting director in the likes of Michael Edwards, and they're a serious club. They're always competing, not just in the Premier League, but in the Champions League. So, Ishan, I admire the way Liverpool run their business, man. I admire the way they run their club, truly.
No, 100%. And they've always been lurking around the top. You know what I mean? Even at their worst seasons, they've somehow still managed to be in the top 4. I think so. That there is something special.
That used to be us. That used to be us, right? Like, worst season, like besides the odd 1 or 2 where we finished under Jose Mourinho 10th once. But besides that, even in our bad season, we always used to finish top 4. That was just the norm.
Not now. You can't say that now.
Not now. Not now. All right, next up. We've changed. Hopefully, things will look a bit better next season. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, some Arsenal news for all the Arsenal fans out there. This is what Declan Rice had to say post-match, which was very interesting. A very good victory, I'd have to say, against Newcastle, who were chasing for top 4 position. So to beat them, this is the first time Arsenal has beaten them this season, Newcastle, at the Emirates. Fine performance, obviously, in front of their home crowd. Not the first half, but in the second half, they did come back nicely. Arsenal. This is what Declan Rice had to say post-match. Declan Rice, hopefully we strengthen in the summer. We sign more players because we're probably going to lose a few. With the team we've got, with the manager we've got, we need to be competing for titles. Next year, we'll be back. I mean, look, I know we laugh about Arsenal. I know we banter Arsenal. I banter Declan Rice at times. But I have to say, it's quite bold for a player to simply come out and say, hopefully we strengthen in the summer. We sign more players because we're probably going to lose a few. You don't generally hear players come out and say, we're going to lose a few. He's literally saying there's players that are going to leave, which, look, most of us will probably know some Arsenal players that are going to leave already. We've seen Jorginho, he's already left, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see more players leave, maybe even Thomas Partey, who knows, and down the track, a few other players might leave. But Ishan, all banter aside and all jokes aside, I know we're going to say they're bottlers, this, that, the other. Ishan, Arsenal, for me, personally speaking, they're probably just a striker away from really competing and winning, as long as their core group can stay fit. Obviously, they had Saka injured for a long time this season. They had Magalhaes. But overall, Ishan, their team is actually not a bad team, you know. It's a very good team. One massive elite striker, and I think this landscape could change for them. What's your thoughts?
I think so. The same. Striker is what they are missing. They've missed someone like a Bukayo Saka for the majority part of the season, just like you spoke about. And that's where the difference lies, because you'd see Arsenal going up, right? Until the time of January, February, they were like going up, and then Bukayo Saka got injured, and then it just derailed, right?
They had Odegaard injured as well. They had Odegaard injured for 3 months.
Odegaard injury as well.
Saka, Gabriel Jesus was out as well, up front.
Right. And they're so ever strong partner of Saliba and Gabriel that also
got broken up.
Was a majority reason why you would say that Arsenal had such a good run, right? And I think so. This is what they are. They've defined the spine that we always like to talk, right? So they've defined that. Gabriel and Saliba is fine until unless any injury happens. You've got Thomas Partey who's playing very well. Declan Rice now is in his prime form, right? And then you have the evergreen Saka who always performs, at least gives them goal if not perform well, right? it's just one striker. That's like the missing piece of the puzzle. You
They
know
need
what I
that
mean?
killer. They need that killer. I
Yeah,
know Havertz plays up front, but let's be honest, that's not really a proper
yeah,
solution. I think he adds goals definitely, and he's had
yeah,
a better life at Arsenal than Chelsea in terms of scoring goals
yeah,
and
yeah,
how
yeah.
he feels. Obviously, we've given him the Champions League. He's never won anything with Arsenal, but they need that killer up front, absolute killer
Not
up front.
100%. Miss, you'd see also an interesting thing with Havertz. We know down the line that Havertz is not a long-term solution. You know what I mean? He
Mm.
might be an alternative. He might be a second to a striker, or maybe a second striker that you like to
Mm.
call.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
not.
just behind a striker as a second
Yeah, yeah.
striker.
A,
Yeah.
a second striker is maybe that you would like to perceive Havertz as, but he's not your long-term solution as a number nine, as an out-and-out
Yeah.
number nine, right? Unfortunately, he got injured before he had that purple patch of form, right? You
Mm.
never know. The way this guy was going, you never know. If he didn't had injury, Arsenal could have been way above than where they are currently. You know what I mean?
Bro, he was
That
scoring
was
goals, Havertz. He was scoring
yeah,
goals.
and it was like he gelled so well with the with the attacking forefront with Saka and
Mm.
Odegaard, and also Gabriel at times when he
Martinelli.
was playing
Yeah.
Martinelli and Trossard as well. So he was gelling so well. It at the moment it felt like, bro, I think so. It's matched, it's matched, and they're going to
Yeah.
do something
I was scared.
unless. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But look, again, my stance is still the same with Havertz. He's not a long term solution. He can be your number
Yeah.
nine or maybe a backup striker. Arsenal need a striker, and yeah, and that's it, isn't it? Because they've got Odegaard as like an architect, right?
Well,
Like a creator.
they've already a week ago, I think they've already announced Zubimendi. Zubimendi was a here
Yeah,
we go, wasn't he? So they've already
correct.
added to the midfield with Jorginho going, Zubimendi coming in. I think Declan Rice, look, as much as I banter him around, is obviously quality midfielder.
Yeah,
Definitely a quality midfielder. Odegaard this season hasn't been good, so next season you'd think he'd come good. And look, as you said, they've got a spine.
yeah,
But Ishan, if they don't win anything next season, I think the
bro.
team will start. Well, the team will start dismantling because I feel like Saliba has probably got one more season at Arsenal, and then Real Madrid, hello, where are you? Because he's not going to stick around for too long. But if they can manage to get titles next season, I think
Yeah.
then some of these players will probably stick around. So I think that's where all the
But Miz,
situation is at the moment.
where are your thoughts on Arteta? How much time do you need to give him more? Because this is a very interesting situation that these guys are in, right? It's more like rags to riches, right? Now they've gone second. Now, if they change a manager, the question is, are they going to get better than where they are currently, right? And it's second, like three-peat for a second place.
Yeah,
Who's
three-peat.
gonna who's gonna be the one who's gonna take them over the line and cross the second bar? This is where the dilemma they are stuck at, right? Whether do we lose Arteta, bring someone in, and probably go more down where they are, or maybe they're just happy of the fact that they're lurking around 1-2 and coming under the title challenge conversation. Stick around with Arteta. What you would do, Miss? This is a very interesting situation.
This is absolutely interesting. I personally, I would make the switch right now. I feel like when Arteta took over the team, they were in a very bad place. They were not going anywhere. A lot of their experienced players were looking to move on, a lot of young kids, and it just didn't feel right. So Arteta did a very good job to bring that team to a position where it's more stable now. They have a backbone, as you said. They have defined, a defined the backbone of the team with Gabriel, Magalhaes, and Saliba and Saka. Now it seems like Arteta is the problem to take them over the line, where Arteta wasn't the problem back then. Back then, Arteta was the solution.
Yeah.
These things in life happens. There are certain managers that are probably not capable of winning. They're just not winners. Like you look at Oliver Glasner.
Yeah.
Europa League with Frankfurt, FA Cup with Crystal Palace. Like this guy seems like he's a winner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's there to win. Can he do something in the Premier League? Probably not. I don't know because it's Crystal Palace. But he's picking up trophies. Arteta is not picking up trophies either, besides that very first one that he won against us when Frank Lampard was around, which Frank Lampard should have won. I would make the change right now, but I also understand when some Arsenal fans are saying they are scared if they let him go now that they're going to plummet down again and be a nonsense club. So
Yeah.
I am in a situation where, like, you know what? One final season for Mr. Arteta, because next season, no more excuse. This season, there shouldn't have been any excuse. They should have won the Premier League, but so many injuries, this, that, the other. Next season, no more excuse. Do your business in the transfer window and show us that you can win. If you can't win next season, and I'm not talking about Carabao Cup and FA Cup, because, look, Arsenal should be winning the Premier League or the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
If Arteta can't win any of the big titles, I think that's it. That will be it. Because what more? What more can Arsenal do? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Would you agree with that?
No, 100%. I think so. It's such a beautiful discussion to have. You can have a separate live show of this. You know what I mean? Arteta
100%.
and the entire dilemma. Is this the saturation point of Mikel Arteta as a manager? That's what my question is. Plus, second, if I was in what's the director or CEO's name? Enoch or something? I don't know. I forgot the.
Oh, you mean for Spurs? Oh no, Arsenal
No.
is
Arsenal.
the Arsenal. It's the latest guy from Atletico Madrid, Andrea Berta. He came in from Atletico Madrid. Yeah.
If I was in Andrea Berta's space, I would have waited until I get an elite level manager, like a Hansi Flick, Luis Enrique-esque manager, where I'm sure that, okay, the next one I bring in, I'll have to be sure that that guy has an expertise or experience of winning a championship.
Winning stuff.
And winning it big, not domestic dilly-dally FA Cups and McDonald's Cups, right? Winning the Champions League or your domestic league. Then I would make a switch. I would not stop, right? Because there is a chance that it's like you're going this like this, and there is a saturation point.
And then it plateaus.
It plateaus, right? And if you don't break the barrier, you'll fall straight down.
You'll start falling down. Yeah.
Because the motivation will go away, right? Now,
not just the motivation, those players are not going to be at the top level forever. Like,
right, exactly.
It's prime time for them to win now for those players.
And just imagine this, playing good, wouldn't someone like a Real Madrid come for a Declan Rice? Because he's been performing out and out for seasons after seasons. So if your top players like this perform well and probably choose some other club to win stuff, your team would be hollow again, right? So this is a very interesting phase for Arsenal Football Club to choose that have that decision about Mikel Arteta. Number one, is this the saturation point of Mikel Arteta? If I give him these set of players, let's assess in the next season, how does he perform? If not, let's keep an eye on the creme de la creme managers who have won stuff and you're confident to have these players under that manager. Make a switch. You know what I mean? Make a switch.
100%.
Unless you have those players performing at the peak, or else it might be very late and maybe it may be again from ground zero for Arsenal.
Ground zero, and that would be a disaster for Arsenal. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Manchester United news for all the Manchester United fans out there. Get very excited because this is a player that I like a lot. Matthias Cunha to Manchester United is getting very, very close. Once again, from Fabrizio Romano, exclusive. Manchester United are now closing in on Matthias Cunha deal. Bomb. When Fabrizio puts a bomb, it's about to explode. That's what's about to happen. The Brazilian has accepted the project as agreement on personal terms. It's now being finalized, almost done. So it looks like this is almost done deal. Final details to sort between all parties involved. And then here we go. Matthias Cunha, Ishan, for me, he's an enigmatic player, man. He's an absolute enigma. On his day, this guy can bamboozle you single-handedly. But the temperament worries me. He's got a bit of a loose head at times. If he loses that head, then your red card to everyone. Do you know what I mean? Not just him, to the whole team. This guy's a bit crazy, but you never know if he can keep himself in check, but at the same time, you like that aggression. You want that aggression. I'm pretty sure Man United wants that aggression. But this guy, as that inside forwards, the way Amorim plays, three at the back, wing backs, couple of midfielders, inside forwards, striker off, this guy playing just behind a striker in those number 10 roles, I think this guy would be unbelievable for Man United and Ruben Amorim. That's if Ruben Amorim can keep his job. Ishan, this is a good signing for Man United. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I 100% agree. Matthews Cunha has been very impressive with the likes of Wolves. I always thought the fact that his levels is way above Wolverhampton. You know what I mean? He does not. I mean, of course, he's helped uplift the team, but his levels is quite above. And I was expecting an upgrade to Matthews Cunha, same way that we might expect upgrade of Eberechi Eze, someone like a Mbuemo, someone like a Visa for that matter now, or John Philip Mateta. We feel that these guys deserve more than what they're getting at this point in time. I mean, better clubs. Matthews Cunha is one of them, and I think so agreed to the fact that the wing back system of Ruben Amorim is going to help this guy prosper a lot. Because at Wolverhampton, he's got few players around, but it seems like he lacks that support. Sometimes down the line, he lacks that support. He's sometimes taken along a side solo, and then he just loses the ball a couple of times because he does not have that support around him. In Manchester United, with the likes of Bruno Fernandes, this guy can prosper,
Ahmad, Bruno Fernandes,
Ahmad,
even Zirkzee, before he got injured, started to show a little bit of form under Ruben Amorim. So, yeah, man, things could look a little bit different. And if they add a few more acquisition, which I'm pretty sure Man United will, they're going to lose a lot of players. And if they add a few more quality in and around Matthias Cunha, you just never know. Maybe Man United. This is what I'm saying. To all the Chelsea fans out there, like, you think that the rest of the Premier League is just going to sit around and do nothing and let our little baby players grow and become these super monsters. Everyone around us is strengthening. Everyone is strengthening. And the landscape could be very different next season. It can be very, very different. So you have to be on the prowl. You definitely have to be on the prowl. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Olympique Lyon confirmed Rayan Cherki will leave the club in the summer, as player announced over the weekend. He's ready for a new chapter. I mean, Ishan, recently I watched Lyon versus Man United and then Man United versus Lyon, both the fixtures. This guy at Old Trafford, he absolutely burnt it up, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Seth Rowland settings. Burn it down. This guy was incredible. Yeah, this guy was incredible. There's rumors that Man United are going after this player. And he could be going for cheap. Apparently, his fee is like less than 20 million euros or something ridiculous. He's already announced he's leaving Lyon. He doesn't want to stay there anymore. He's done his business. Ishan, a lot of people in the Chelsea fan base want him, but I'm like, that's probably not a player that we need. Because he's another one of those playmakers just in behind a striker. He's not really
just like Nkunku.
Just like Nkunku. He's not really an out-and-out winger. He can play wing, don't get me wrong. Rayan Cherki, when he was playing against Man U, he was operating from that right side, but he's more someone who wants to drift inside, right? We've got Cole Palmer. We've got, a whole heap of other different players that we can utilize in that area. And Maresca doesn't really play with a number 10. Well, he does with Cole Palmer, but it's not like he plays with several number 10. Sometimes he utilizes Enzo Fernandez as the half space. Sometimes even Cucurella gets into those half spaces.
Yes.
We rather have under Enzo Maresca wide wingers that are, very wide and touching and hugging the touchline. I don't see any reason why we should be going for someone like Rayan Cherki. Once again, I feel like someone like Man United could definitely do with a player like Cherki. But what's your thoughts? You think Premier League or elsewhere?
I think so. This would be a good signing for United, to be very honest, with the likes of the players that they have, more like Rasmus Højlund, then every player would look good. Do you know what I mean? Even Matthews, Cunha, and Ryan Cherki. By the way, the caliber of these players are good. But if you see Man United like 10, 15, 20 years ago, they would not even
Mm.
take a sniff of these players. Do you
They
know what
will
I
not
mean?
even be bench.
Nah, 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 no chance. That's where the level has dropped. Oh, the mighty
Yeah.
have fallen. How the mighty have fallen. You know what I mean? So, but I think so. At the current scenario, Ryan Cherki would be a good fit. I believe so. And you know what about this player? As far as I've seen, this guy has a very nice capability to take himself into a very good attacking positions where he can receive the ball. He just finds himself in that position. After that, the of course the finishing can improve, and maybe the chance creation, he does that pretty well as well. But then he has that ability to find himself in a space where, that can be very threatful to the opposition. And with the likes of having Matthews, Cunha beside him, I think so these two guys can cook. They can cook together. I think so this would be a smart signing for United.
100%. And look, he's not just only linked with United. Apparently, I think Liverpool are also linked with him. Newcastle, I heard some rumors around him as well. I mean, he would be a great acquisition for a lot of Premier League clubs. So we'll see. We'll monitor where Ryan Cherki is going. As I said, I don't necessarily think he's required at Chelsea Football Club, but then again, he's a baller. So if we ever do think about getting a player like him, fair enough. I've got no issues, but we do need to accommodate and adjust the way we want to play. So
Yeah.
let's see and monitor where Ryan Cherki goes. Next up, the plan remains for Dusan Vlahovic part ways with Juventus this summer. No negotiations to extend his contract at the club, currently expiring in June 2026, and his departure remains the most likely outcome. There was a time Chelsea Football Club were heavily linked with Dusan
Yeah.
Vlahovic. We're still looking for a striker. Ishan, do you want a striker like Vlahovic, or do you think, nah, maybe not Premier League level? He could probably struggle here. Or like, what's your thoughts? What's your overall thoughts on Dusan Vlahovic?
No, I think so. I'm getting the same vibes that I had got with Timo Werner. Now I'm not at that bad level. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
okay? Not at that bad level. But what I'm trying to say is my context here is he might struggle to find the style of Premier League according to what he plays at
Bit too
Juventus.
fast. Bit too fast. Bit too
Yeah,
physical.
it's too fast. Look, Juventus, Liga, it's I mean Serie A, it's very technical, and they're very hardworking as well. No two ways about it. But Premier League is like blink of an eye. It's so
Yeah,
fast paced. You don't even have the
the
time to
pace is
think.
electric. Premier League. The pace is
It's
unbelievable.
Yes, and also I don't want to struggle my club with another striker who is not very clinical. And Vlahovic, there are complaints about him and not
Injuries as well is an issue.
injuries as well, and him and his conversion rate being an issue. Maybe I'd give it a pass and maybe seek for someone else.
Yeah, and I agree. But once again, it'll be interesting to see where Dusan Vlahovic does head.
Miss,
Does
but
he
would you
go
take?
to-
Would you have taken Cunha at Chelsea?
I would have taken Cunha, but then he would have to play where Cole Palmer's playing. So then we'd have to shift Cole Palmer on the right side, being a winger. But then you have to realize Estevao Willian is coming
Yeah.
next season. So then where does Cole Palmer? Because Estevao Willian will probably play on the right or maybe in the middle. And I would love a player like Cunha, but I feel like it's too much of too much. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just, where do you fit? Where do you fit all of these players? So
It's like
I think
Nkunku
that
like
needs to be.
situation will be stuck again. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we still haven't got rid of Nkunku. I know he's going to go. João Felix, don't forget, he's still at Chelsea Football Club. So,
Yes.
all of these players in the same positions, it's just too much. It's too much. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Hansi Flick. I know what signings I want for this team. I'll talk to Deco about this because we need some time to discuss it. I mean, Hansi Flick is cooking something, Ishan. We've already touched base on Barcelona a few days ago. They've done a madness this season. They've won La Liga. I'm pretty sure they've won. Have they done a domestic treble or something? They've won La Liga. They've won the Copa del Rey. Did they win another Spanish Cup or something like that? I'm not really sure. But
I'm sure.
Barcelona's done a madness. Hansi Flick, I'm pretty sure, will be eyeing the Champions League next season because they probably thought they were the favourites this season. Ishan, I think, are trying to nail down Yamal on a new contract, bumper contract. He deserves it.
Yeah.
If they can keep Rafinha, they can keep well, obviously they're going to keep Yamal. They've already got a lot of talent in terms of Pedri, Gavi, and so on and so forth. If they add a few more extra bits and pieces, this can be crazy. This can be a crazy, crazy team next season.
No, Hansi Flick is not messing about. He has his eyes locked on the Champions League. I'm telling you, he wants to lift that silverware. He wants to definitely lift. Look, he's already lifted the La Liga this season, and next year it's going to be all for nothing. You know what I mean? Barcelona edition, all for nothing, and they're gonna go all guns blazing for that Champions League title. And for that, Hansi Flick is gonna have those signings like we spoke about in the last show as well. That the episode that we talked about Barcelona. I think so. Surely there has to be some defensive signings, and maybe midfield is already stacked, I would say. But you know what? It's the
maybe defender.
factor.
I think they could get the injury factor, and I think maybe they could do with a defender because sometimes
defender,
they do
100%.
struggle with Araujo gets injured, and then
they have to sign. I believe centre back has to be there in his list. That has to be the
goalkeeper is getting talked about. I think Ter Stegen and Szczesny, they're both. I don't think they're going to be. I'm not sure if Ter Stegen's going to be around, but Szczesny is definitely not going to be around. So goalkeeper, they're definitely looking at. So defensively, I think they're going to look to bolster a little bit.
Right, and also Gavi got injured this season. You know what I mean? Pedri is always a workhorse, so you need to have some backup for him as well. So these few bits and pieces, just like you said, maybe some would be an out-and-out starter, some would be a let's say so-called B team, or maybe a secondary option. Bro, these additions will take Barcelona to new heights. Just beware of them. You know, they are my favorites for the next year Champions League.
100%, man. For me as well, whatever acquisitions they make, I think it's only going to help them become favorites for Champions League. They're already, for me as well, favorites for Champions League next season. I have a feeling they're going to win it. They're gonna go all the way next season and absolutely annihilate that competition. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the latest on everything we spoke about. Let us know in the comment section how you feel about all this news that's been floating around, what your thoughts are. Let us know in the comment section. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, and we shall see you for the next video very, very soon. Until next time, take care. See ya.